Yo, what is up, guys? I'm here hitting you up with another Etheria video today with a completely different topic than you're used to. The reason why I'm quitting Etheria. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding. Okay, but there was a lot of controversy the last couple of days and weeks, and different content creators making videos about the state of the game and stuff like that. And I thought some of you guys are maybe interested in my view of this whole topic. So I thought I will just give my zenf to the entire thing, and we're gonna react to OrangeJ's video. I will link his video in the description down below. If you didn't see him, go check him out, give him a like. Will be linked at the very top of this video as well. And he talks about certain issues with this game right now, what other people think, what his opinions are. I watched a little bit, like the first 2 minutes of it. I didn't watch the entire thing, so I will check it out with you together and just give you my opinion on all the topics and then my insight as well.
It is totally normal for a gacha game to launch, be a huge influx of players right as the game starts, and then they just leave, right? A week and 2 weeks into the game or whatever, they're like, this game's not for me. I'm going to go back to playing Honkai Star Rail or Genshin Impact. And some of those people are big content creators like a Braxophone who take advantage of quitting a game that they never really wanted to play in the first place. And honestly, like if you watch his video, the dude never, like, he didn't really understand what he was saying.
Okay, I need to stop here and say something. Because I don't like to break a video, so for my reaction, I don't like to break a video in like 5 seconds and then say something. I just want to have a part and then say about it, talk about a certain topic. Here's something I want to say about. So first and foremost, I never watched the Braxophone video, so I have no clue. I don't know this guy. Maybe at some point I watched one of like a gacha news topic, something. But what I noticed, there are certain content creators in, I don't know if it's the gacha space or general, but I noticed something. There's like a certain meta that is going on. They are making videos, making news about new upcoming gacha games. Then there's a close release to a certain gacha game. Then they start hyping up the gacha till the release. Then they play the game for like about a week. And then there's, and then they make a video about why this game is failing, why the devs suck, why the game sucks, why the community is mad. And I mean, there are probably a lot of games where this is exactly the case, but I feel like this is just a meta strat they always do, hyping up the game till the release, making videos for like a week and then just trashing the game and then on to the next one. And this just keeps continuing. It continues, and continues. And this is basically their entire content.
But he could get a couple 100,000 views by making a video trashing the game on the way out.
Exactly.
Hey, look, dude, make your money. I feel you.
Yeah.
But there are problems with the game that are driving people away that weren't just always going to quit in a week or two, like what always happens. So I want to talk about those issues here, because if we get those.
Okay, I skip a little bit for what, because I watched that part, so I want to go into the topics here.
Of what I'm gonna get to here is one thing this game has done really well is there's a lot of content. Ethernet Rally, Ember Trek, Phantom Theater, Anti Kekko.
I do agree. I like the content. I do agree. The amount of content we are getting in this game is really cool. Especially the Anti-Sync is not just like a weird side content, but it's actually like it gets tough. You can't just full throttle all the way to 42 and you're good to go. You actually have to build up. It takes time and you get actually good rewards. And this is also something which a lot of games do completely wrong. Why do you want to farm certain content? Why do you want to do certain challenges? Because of the rewards. The rewards need to be good. It needs to be rewarding. And when the stuff is rewarding, then you are going to do that. Now, for the people who played anything, you know, okay, sometimes you neglect it, but at some point you will come back because you know, oh, there's another perfect lettuce. There's another red shadow improvement. I want to get that. Oh, Ethernet Rally. I get a lot of silver there. I get lattice fragments there, I get gems there, I get so many resources. I always want to do that. Ember Track you always want to push because you get stuff there as well. This is the stuff. Phantom Theater I can see at some point being like the most boring content, the daily, which will be where we will be annoyed by doing that. But this is the stuff. This is also something I always said about every single game, or when I played a gacha game or something. Content needs to be rewarding. There needs to be a drive to do certain content. Like the rewards need to be good. And like currently with the lattices, I feel like when you see something, if you see there is a lattice in there, you're gonna do it. For example, here for me, I wanted to max out my Yali because I wanted to make like a proper showcase. So yesterday I completely maxed out the hyperlink charter because there were like two or three more lattices that were just waiting for me. And I was really like, okay, let me finish this. I want to get these lattices because I need them to max out characters.
Always be doing these. And then we have like circulating events, right?
This is completely fine for me. Personally, my opinion when it comes to events is events are events. Events are to celebrate, to get goodies, to get resources for everybody. An event is not for a specific player pool. An event should be for everybody. So the Shell story, for example, is very, very perfect. I really, really like the Shell story because at the end of the Shell story, you can choose if you want to get gems, if you want to get pools, if you want to get lattice fragments. This is like a really good event. You just go around the board. I like it because from these type of events, I feel like the Shell story is one of the better ones I've seen in the gacha game space so far. Cage Rumble is, for example, very, very annoying. Like this is not... It's neither beginner friendly or like mid game or something. It's like super hard if you look also at the rankings. There are just a couple who even achieve over 3000. Like yesterday I did a couple runs with the stuff I tested and I was able to get a score of 2200. Yeah, so I got over 200. I didn't reach the 2500 yet. Maybe if I optimize now more, and today with the upgrade to my Yale, I can probably maybe achieve 2500. I don't know, need to test it. But this is actually really tough, and that shouldn't be the case. They should actually lower the score, which is required, not 3000, make it like 1500 or even, I don't know. But this should be, events in my opinion, should be as free-to-play friendly and just player base friendly. It should be something, not it's locked behind a certain progression point or something. It's something everybody should benefit from.
Things that come and go. Some of them like Shell Story, super easy, great. Problem is you can't ever do any of it because you are constantly locked.
Here he talks about PvP and PvE in general with gear.
You're wearing the gear that you need to be farming because you have to farm a ton in this game. And I'm not against a game where you have to farm a lot. What I'm against is having my gear tied into farming characters.
So yeah, I know this issue. I have this issue as well because, and that's also not just the PvP side of things. What personally annoys me is because I'm farming a lot of different stuff. So I go in here, for example, I go into my challenges. Then sometimes I say, okay, now I want to farm Sharon. I do my, I don't know, 30 runs of Sharons or something, like 10 runs, I say, for example, okay, now I want to do Nikonana, or actually because of the challenges, I had to do Doki Doki, I had to do Aurora, I had to do Terremoto and stuff like that. And I always had to switch gear, and that was very, very annoying to me. So what he's talking about is he wants a PvP side and a PvE side of things. I want to actually go a step further. I don't want to just have a split of PvP and PvE. I want to have a quality of life where I go into the ETH arena. I can set up my defense. My defense, whatever I log into that with my PvP setup is locked in. I don't need to worry with it at all. And then when I go to the PvE side of things, I can set up my teams. You know, we have these, not the friend part, but we have the formation part where we can set up our teams, right? Now let us make like a selection where I can set up my team, save it here with the relics with the gear I equipped. So now I can go into the dungeon, choose, let's say I want to do Aurora, right? But my Aurora team is not equipped. Now I go in here, go into my presets, choose my Aurora setup, and the stuff I saved during that specific time frame, right, for the ski is now locked into that, because we have that currently with the Guild War. When you do your stuff, right, when you lock in your gear with your units, then can I actually see like the gear? No, I can't see that. But when you actually set your defense, it is saved. Now with that preset, it should be saved as well. So when I go into Aurora, I pick my team, boom, it is equipped the way I equipped it when at the point where I saved it. Now this is a change I want to see, because I hate switching all the time. Just let me log in, boom, and I have everything I want.
Which are background farming basically all day. And then I have like 20 minutes, and I could take those 20 minutes and be like, ooh, I like all my
okay, yeah, I can understand it. Also, my current tip for PvP is the way I do it. I do all my dailies. Once I'm done with all my daily stuff, basically, and there's only PvP left, then I switch to PvP, do my tickets, and then I log off for the day with my gear, main gear equipped on my PvP defense. So when I log out and I'm done, I'm not doing anything else, my defense is set properly. This is how I do it.
One thing, like if they fixed one thing off of the back of this video, give us PvP gear sets and give us PvE gear sets. Like we do have gear sets in the game, and if you didn't know about this,
yeah, he talks about
Arena,
the
like I'm always running these naked mechanic for when your characters are background farming and you take gear off, go do those, put your gear back to farming mode, pay for convenience. So give it to us in convenience. We want convenience. Is it all doable? Yes. But many people who play gacha games that like thrive for not being such a freaking pain in the ass to where like it prevents you from doing things in the game. So that's number one. That was a bit of a long point, but there's the rant. All right. Now, the next thing I want to touch on is Inferno difficulties and if they are overtuned a little bit. And I think
I can give you the short answer. Yes, they are overtuned. And here is a 5-head move the devs could potentially have done, but I do not give devs credit for an idea like this. Like, one reason why Inferno is so damn difficult is that the devs might have thought they actually don't want us to farm Inferno in the first 2 weeks or the first month of the game. They want us to stop at Hell 4, farm our stuff at Hell 4, and then there will be a patch later down the line where they nerf all the Inferno content. So basically, it's like a catch-up mechanic where all the people, the spenders, everybody stops at Hell 4. So you can race. There are people who are faster at Hell 4 than others, but Inferno is so difficult that even the spenders should not be able to clear it right now. So everybody has to stop at Hell 4, while the free-to-play players can slowly catch up to Hell 4, and then there comes the nerf to Inferno, and then everybody together can jump into Inferno together. This is now giving a lot of 200 IQ credit to the developers if that is the game plan. I don't think it is. And even if it would be, that plan would have failed by now, because the people actually figured out how to deal with that gap right now in the game, using certain combos, using certain setups, using certain requirements to actually clear the content. Now all the people can farm, some people can farm Inferno, but the others cannot. They cannot even farm Hell 4 or something. Maybe if they're lucky, they can farm Hell 3. And now there's that gap. And actually what they need to do is now they have to heavily nerf Inferno so everybody can clean. By the way, I'm not a fan of, because I saw some people say, oh yeah, just give us Inferno 2, so only 3 metrics. No. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. We have Hell 4 for that. No, you give us Inferno, which is more difficult. I want to only see 3 matrices and the Inferno gear on there. That's all I want to see in there. And if I don't need the Inferno gear and I just want to have faster runs and I can live with getting 2 icon pieces, then I go to Hell 4, because Hell 4 I can speedrun in like 30 seconds, right? So Inferno then a little bit tougher, slower, because you can get Inferno gear and you can get your guaranteed 3 icons once, and Hell 4 to speedrun if you just want to get certain gear or something, if you want to farm. But I don't like the idea about Inferno 2 at all. And also the next part, which we will probably mention in this video, is the topic about certain units which are a requirement for a certain dungeon. Now, what the current problem, I don't have an issue, generally speaking, if a content is hard, as long you have multiple strategies, multiple ways to actually get through this content. Now, obviously, we do not have the resources. Maybe the devs put in some free-to-play options, some resources where you can use like Dorothy and stuff like that, manipulation with like skill reduction stuff and so on and so forth. You can play, but the problem is we are lacking the resources to try all these different combos. That is one thing. And now the problem is, and there's also, I noticed a lot of people complain, like there are 2 sides. There are the people who have Lily, and there are people who don't have Lily, and then there are people who have Zanya, and the people who do not not have Zanya. Actually, you can clear all the content currently without Zanya. That is possible. But then you need, for example, a Lily. And there's like a huge gap because the people who have Lily, they're like, okay, I'm good. I can watch these guides or something like that. And then the people who don't have Lily, they just keep complaining 24/7 all day, every day, complain, oh, I see a Lily, blah, blah, blah. And I think it's auto win. No, she is not an auto win. You actually have to put in the effort. You need to know how to do that stuff. You need to farm and prepare your setup. Otherwise, even a Lily doesn't do jack shit for you. But the thing is here, and this is the misconception about the game right now, is Lily right now should only be a win more unit in this game. The problem is Inferno is so overtuned that the standard strategies with your standard lineups do not work or are actually very hard to execute well. For example, Termaton you can do with Hoyen, for example. But the point is, you have to use a unit like a Lily, for example, for a majority of the Inferno content, because you need that win more unit to actually clear that mode. And generally speaking, it should be more that you can use any kind of strategy, like smart strategy you can come up with to clear that content, right? So you beat your Termaton, you beat your Doki Doki, you beat your Aurora, you beat your Inferno Shell dungeons. And now if you add a Lily, for example, to the team, she should just improve the team. That, for example, if you were like a 1 minute 30 team on average, now you are a 1 minute team, or she just improves your timer by a 15 to 20 seconds, making your runs more efficient. But she actually, in all sense, doesn't add anything to the team instead of just making your runs more efficient. You were able to farm before, now with her, you can just make your runs faster. That should be the ideal situation. But because Inferno is so overtuned, you need that win more character just to beat it in certain scenarios. It is not a requirement for all the dungeons, obviously, because there are many options. I saw many options. I'm using different options as well. But just giving also my perspective on this whole Inferno topic.
The devs have already leaned into the answer to that being yes. Some people will argue and say, no, this is the hardest fights in the game. This is the end game. You shouldn't be able to beat that after 2 weeks.
Not really. Also, there's the fact that they made it so difficult because they want also the spenders to spend more, so they get their units faster up, extra lattice, stuff like that, and so on and so forth, just to be able to farm Inferno earlier.
I just disagree with that take overall. I think the end game for PvE is all of this trial challenge stuff.
I always have a hard time considering PvE content endgame. I'm honest with you guys. But I guess you could say so. You could say so, that this is endgame content, Ethernet rally. At the current state of the game, yes, probably. I don't know. Let's say, like, give us 4 more months. I don't know how challenging Ethernet is anymore. I don't know how challenging Ember Track is anymore. And if we didn't by that time completely completed any sync echoes, and we're just basically wait, okay, when is the next echoes update? Hopefully we get another perfect lattice because I need it for my character upgrade. And Phantom Tier Tower, maybe with leaderboards and stuff like that. But this is something I do not like. But yeah, considering at the current state of the game, yes, this is the PvE endgame content, yes.
I think this is the PvE endgame, or Cage Rumble, Infinity Train, things like that. These stages up here are meant to be farming, and so
like, personally speaking, I always consider PvP content endgame, because you farm your gear, you farm your shells, you farm your resources, you do all this stuff. All that PvE stuff you are doing is just for preparation to be the strongest possible when you're going to PvP and play against other players. Like, this is my general view on endgame content.
lowering the difficulty of Inferno, or at least changing the, like, I watched a Vulcan video where he was talking to Sean B about like enrage mechanics in these fights. Like, get rid of that stuff.
Yeah, and also remove the dot resistance from Aurora.
For example,
and they made him less tanky, but make him even less tanky.
Way to beat, like, let's look at Aurora. This is probably the hardest Inferno fight in the game, or one of the hardest Inferno fights in the game right now. There should be more ways to beat.
I do agree to a certain, yeah, okay, yeah.
This fight, then like burn her down before she kills you. Like, I feel like if PvE, if farming teams are going to be this like puzzle building game of putting together the correct team to like overcome.
Yo, that dude is actually using it now. I just realized it. That dude using Chloros and gets 48 seconds. With Dyna, speed combo? Yeah, actually nice. Cool.
Come the boss's mechanics and win. Hey, maybe if you're a little under-geared or your shells aren't perfect, you put together a team that can like tank, heal, and over the course of like 4 to 5 minutes, beat the fight. Like that is enough of a punishment. Like if you're a background farm for a 5 clears of Aurora Inferno.
Like ideally when you play like Aurora right now, the ideal units, like this is for example now a very, very specific combo, and I do believe you need a high gear requirement, and also you don't know, is this auto or is this manual, and how reliable is it really, right? Because you do not have a effect resistance debuff on it, and you heavily rely on what she's doing, and if you lands debuff, so I don't know how reliable this is. It's just a speed clear, but like if you look below than that, I think you need one of the two. Like Linglaw is free to play, Viper is free to play, Valerian is free to play. Now considering the other Heinrich, you don't really need, because you're using Viper for that. And now the thing is, for the Lily, for this part, the supporter part, you're either gonna go with Lily or Tsukuyomi. So these two are basically the spot for this. And then you need your DPS, and your DPS consists of either Yali, Rosa, or Ziada. And this is what you can set up. So the Lily you can replace with Tsuki, and the Tsuki you can replace with Lily, basically. You can go one or the other.
Of Aurora Inferno takes your team, I don't know, 30 minutes. Hey, that is a little bit of a punishment. And as you gear up, as you get better shells and modules, you can lower that speed, eventually 2-star or whatever. I think that's plenty good of a progression system. But right now, it feels like there's so few ways to beat these fights that at least don't involve investing into weird characters. And I think like as a feels guy.
Yeah, and the problem with that as well is simply with the investing part, and that's why where I also have a solution in my opinion, or a good step into the right direction. Now the problem is they want to have something like niche characters you need to build for a certain dungeon, and then you have, for example, like a Lily, which is like a universal unit you can bring into every single dungeon. But the thing is, we have limited resources in terms of lattices and shadow imprints to get units to 6 stars, right? And even the purple lattices are not that easy to get, right? So how are we supposed, like if we put our resources into like 2 or 3 certain characters, but we now need different characters for another dungeon, how are we supposed to get the resources? We can't, right? So you're basically locked in whatever you decide. Like if you decide to go full busted nuts on Doki, then you're basically locked in Doki. You can't do Aurora, you can't do Terramaton because you invested your resources on Doki. Or if you did all in Terramaton, now you cannot farm Doki or Aurora. Like, I don't think anyone farms Aurora and cannot farm. I think if you farm Aurora, you probably can farm one or the other. But this is something where the issue comes in. We don't have the resources to try that many things because we are locked. Even as content creator, even if you spend money, you can't build every single unit in the game. It is not possible right now because of the resource income we have in this game. My solution for that would be at bare minimum. So first of all, there should be an economy of like 1.2 perfect lattices per character per month we are getting, so that we always get a little bit more to actually be able to complete a character. If a character is like 12 lattices, right? Then we should be able to get around 14 to 15 lattices per month, because they're always releasing a new character. So we always have that, okay, one character per month we can completely max out, and then we get a little bit more. This should be the ideal way, because they should keep pumping out new characters. But if we only get like 4, 5, 6 per month, then we can only upgrade a character to max once every 2 months, and in the meantime there are 2 or 3 new characters coming out. Now those characters are looking not that interesting anymore, but because you can't build them. The only reason we pull a character, if you know, okay, without any skill up investment, I can use it in a certain content which helps me to beat, but at some point you might be able to beat all the content in the game, let's per se. There's no reason for you to pull a new character, because at that part you're only looking for lattice income, upgrading, stuff like that, right? So this needs to be increased, and I feel like at the current state of the game there needs 2 more things that needs to happen. So first and foremost, I feel like the reset event, the Animus Transfigure event, where we get all the resources back from a character and then can put it into a different character, that should be a weekly thing at this point in the current state of it. It should be a weekly thing. Every Saturday should be a reset event going on, where we get at least 2, maximum 3 resets. So at least when there is also a new character coming out, or we got a new unit or something, that we can reset one unit try that new unit or where we struggle with on a max skill build and see, does it perform, does it not perform? If we are happy with it, we stick to that. Okay, we are good to go. If we don't like it, we can take our resource back and put it again into that one unit or into a different unit, depending on what we're trying to achieve, right? This needs to happen. And I feel like also resource income should be increased with, we should get like what we got from the 2x event in terms of coins and GP materials and XP materials. That should be the standard, and then we should get the 2x event. I feel like at least every 2 weeks right now, every second weekend we should get a 2x event, and then this stuff is doubled, so we actually get a lot. And they really need to reduce the pricings of upgrades.
Who wants the game to not only work but feel good, it just feels bad to be like, oh wait, I have to have, let's say say you're not somebody who likes Kachi the Guard, but Kachi the Guard as an SR unit is like the...
Yeah, he's an, like for Sharon Inferno right now, he's an absolute must. Absolute must. S3 needs to be maxed.
A key unit to a team comp. So you're like, well, shit, I don't have Lily and I can't build dot teams because I don't have Shadow Sonya. I guess I like have to go level Kachi the Guard, and I guess I have to like max his skill 3.
No, it's not like you have to, kinda. Even if you have Lily and you have the dots, you need his S3 max, no question. If you want to use him, you have to max his S3, no matter what you're doing.
More ways to beat the Inferno fights, I think that would be fine. And I think the easiest way to make more ways to beat the Inferno fights is just like take like the enraging mechanics out or lower them a lot, and then just maybe like drop their stats a bit. Like, it's farming content. It's farming content.
I agree.
So like make it a little bit easier to farm. I think the reason the double EXP was or the double drop weekend was awesome was not because it was double drops, is because everybody was like, finally I can farm experience. Because farm...
Exactly what I just mentioned. Finally, we can farm XP. That's what I did. That's how I got my characters to 6-star. That's how I got my characters to level 50 at 6-star or max level 45 at 5-star. Because I spent a lot of my energy, stamina into the investigation and GP as well. And I'm already out of resources again. And now without the double event, I don't want to spend, like, it feels bad for me if I go in here just to try to farm a little bit.
Experience in this game sucks. It sucks. Like, sure, occasionally you can get...
Also, the only thing I want to have, like, with the double event, I don't even want double modules or something. I can live if they take that out and just make double event for investigation and GP, because that alone already would be helpful, right? This alone would be helpful. I don't necessarily need it if they say, like, oh, we cannot do that every week or every second week, give you a double event for modules. I can see that, I can understand that, but bare minimum for investigation and for the GP, that should be always, I think, like, this should always be a weekend thing. Like, every weekend give double resources to investigation and the GP, and from time to time you also give a double reward for the shells.
So like, you spend a whole day and you're refreshing energy and you farm shells for a day and you have... Oh,
one good point about shells, I also believe when you farm like the free matrix shells for the passive effects, I think there shouldn't be, when you roll, right, for the substance, I don't think there should be drops anything below purple or even gold. I think, like, purple bare minimum should be like the lowest roll you can possibly achieve. Ideally, it's already gold, because let's be honest, it's obnoxious right now. It's heavily expensive to even get a shell up to level 40, and then you need to roll, and then you have the RNG, and that costs also a lot. So they need to fix the economy on this part as well.
Those are my gripes. Those are my gripes. I tried to offer some fixes in there. I tried to offer some like ways to maybe overcome some of the problems that I was describing. But look, I know if you're a really hardcore, really smart player who consumes all the guides, who's like grinding every day.
Yeah, and that's the next part. So here at the end of this video, because I skipped a lot of stuff because I already talked about it, so I don't feel like it adds anything if I play that again, basically, and repeat what I said. I agree actually to all the points he said here in this video, with a little bit extra as well. And also, what I also want to add to that is the negativity some people add to the game currently is not really beneficial, because also there are a lot of viewers who just consume videos. They do not think for themselves. You have to say they do not properly think for themselves. They just listen and take that opinion from a content creator and just go true, true, true. And then they go to other content creators and project it. For example, from what I've seen, like, I heard it because I didn't watch, like, Brax, for example, complained about not having a Lily and can't do that. And then all these people come around to all the different content and they're like, oh, you're using Lily, blah, blah, blah. How am I supposed to do that? Oh, Lily not watch, insta skip, blah. For example, this creates a, like, toxic environment, which is not good. And then also, like, there are people also on my video, like the Sharon guide. If you watched my Inferno Sharon guide, the 100% team, dude, I'm just the messenger. I'm just giving you the tools, the baseline. I'm just showing you, this is the team you need for that. This is the gear you need to use for this content. And then you can farm it. And then people just are there that complain. And there are even people who just said, oh yeah, you're showing content with end game gear. I'm struggling with Nightmare. Why are you watching Inferno guides in the first place? If you're struggling with Nightmare, you're probably not even farming Hell at the first place. So why are you watching Inferno and then complaining about the gear when you're at Nightmare, where you don't even get red drops? That's all I can say for that. Personally speaking, there are some issues. I do think this will get fixed over time. The game is still young and I don't have, like, any fear that they will not address these things, they will not improve on these things. I think this stuff will happen because I'm coming from different games. I also played Netmarble games. Those are bad. Like, I personally, if something is, like, very bad and goes downhill, I say it so, right? When they do something bad, I will call them out if they fuck up. And if they do something good, I will say they did a good job. But personally speaking, my approach to that is I don't need a daily update from XD. Oh yeah, we're working on something, we're working on something, we're working on something. Because at the end of the day, it does not matter what game devs say we're doing, we're working on or something. At the end of the day, it matters what they actually do. And actually what is basically the law. And the law is the patch note. Because in the patch note, you actually see what is coming. So I am fine with them not talking at all, but when they drop the patch note, I want to see a bomb, right? I want to see a big ass bomb where everything is like, this is fixed, this isn't fixed, we heard the feedback, we did improve, now this costs less, now you get more from this, now we did this, and stuff like that. Now we added more lattice things here, we made the resource economy in the shop cheaper, stuff like that. That's what I want to see. And yeah, that's about it. This video is already over 30 minutes long. I will cut it down a little bit here and there. But yeah, guys, if you watched the entire video, if you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. I really appreciate it. And see you with the next one. Deuces.